Steve Harvey, he's a company man now, and at the end of the day, that's the side that he picked, and we all know what comes with that. That means he has no integrity, no backbone. He's not going to speak out against nothing. He's not going to stand up for his people. He's not going to stand up for no other comics. He's not even going to stand up for anything. And he had told us straight to our face live that he has no integrity and it's all about the money. He's not going to risk anything when it comes to his bag, man. So I would like to hear y'all thoughts about that in today's video. Get in the comment section down below. How do y'all feel about today's video?
While watching this video, I want all of you out there to answer just this one question. What would you do for wealth? F your opinion, man. Let's get to it. The comments I want to review in today's content comes from a YouTube channel from a guy who goes by the name of Self-Talk. And the comments from the particular video that I want to review is entitled, Steve Harvey Gets Checked Live by Monique and Cat Williams Exposes Steve and Monique. Warning, must see. So if you want to check out this video, as always, I'll put the reference video in the descriptions of my videos as well. So please go check out their page to go view their content. And if you haven't already, drop Self-Talk a like and subscribe if you feel like it. So, what are we talking about today? In this video that he released, he revisited a beef between Steve Harvey and Monique from the past when Monique was going through an issue with Netflix, giving her like $200,000 or $300,000 for a Netflix special, and Monique felt that she was being lowballed by Netflix and not being shown her true value. Monique later went on a journey to talk to the public about banning Netflix and how we should stand up to Netflix for not paying her and treating black women as less than. She began reaching out to the community and her peers for support, and she felt that she was not getting that. She appeared on the Breakfast Club as well talking to Charlamagne, and Charlamagne did mention a point to her that I agreed with, and that Netflix is in the game of making money. And at the time, Monique wasn't as hot as she thought she was. So Charlamagne suggested she go hit the streets, do some tours, go out there and get her name hot, then come back with an audience so Netflix would pay her more. But that's not what this video is about. I want to review what Self-Talk went over in his video about the dialogue that Steve and Monique had when she appeared on his show to discuss the support, or lack thereof, that she was getting from her peers surrounding this issue. And what Steve had to say really stuck with me, man. So why is all of this important, right? With Cat Williams' interview that he did on Club Shay Shay about 2 weeks ago, he mentioned a lot of different celebrities, mainly comedians out there, who were, I guess you can call them corporate whores in a sense, right? One of the people he went in on was your boy, Steve Harvey. And now in the earlier days, a lot of us considered Steve Harvey to be part of our community, right? Part of one of us, right? The issues came about as Steve began to climb that corporate ladder in the industry. He began to become recognized in the community as somewhat of a sellout, as you could say. And that's up for debate what your opinion about him is, until he starts to introduce supported facts from his mouth. Now at the end of this video produced by Self-Talk, he shows that clip I showed in the beginning of the video of Steve admitting to himself over talking Monique, one of our strong black sisters out here doing it on her own. May not be funny to you, may be funny to somebody else, but the point is she's out here doing it on her own and looking for support from her community, trying to show how black women and African American people in general are getting railroaded by the system and we need to stand up. And what Steve says to her in response shook me, man. Dude said, I can't, for the sake of my own integrity, let my family suffer because I want to uphold some principles, because I want to uphold my morals, because I basically want to be a person of strong character. Now, it's just my opinion, but money comes and goes, especially in today's world. You have a variety of different ways to come up in the game and take care of your family on a day-to-day basis. But when it comes to that high level of celebrity, when you're getting hundreds of millions of dollars in the industry, it's known amongst our community that some sacrifices need to be made to fit in with that culture. But do sacrifices of your character need to be made to make that same money? According to Steve, the answer is yes. So much so that he himself said that he would put his own integrity and character to the side just to make some money to support his family. Now I get it. None of us are sitting on $100-300 million, nor do we know what it takes or have been through the ringer to understand what it takes to get that type of money in that industry. So who are we to put any kind of restrictions or barriers or fault him for that? Oh, we can fault him for that all we want. I mean, after all, it is our opinion, but at the end of the day, we gotta stand up for what we believe in. Steve is doing the same thing, but I'm on the side of Monique. All you got is who you are, man. That's all you really truly got in this world. Yeah, we got life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, but those can be infringed upon by others. When something comes from within you, your care, your love, your trust, your honor, your integrity, those are characteristics of you that come from within you. So when you give up yourself in exchange for external equity, what are you really saying to your family? What are you saying to your heirs? What are you saying to your community? Better yet, what are you saying to yourself? So I wanted to highlight that in this video, man. I thought that was a really powerful comment coming from Steve, showing us who he truly is. And it backs up a lot of what Cat Williams was saying in the interview on Club Shay Shay. I used to rock with Steve. In a way, I can say I kind of still do as far as on the talent side of the game. But when it comes to him and who he is and what he stands for, I'm no longer on his side. So as usual, this is FYO. Let's go ahead and check the opinions and see what the public has to say, man. And I'm going to leave it at that. Ferran55 starts off by saying, the greatness of a man is not in how much wealth he acquires, but in his integrity and his ability to affect those around him positively. One of my things that I have been striving for in my own personal life over the past few years is to focus on positivity and productivity for myself and those around me, right? So from reading Ferran's comments, it seems as if he's putting the character of a man over the external treasures of a man to represent the greatness of oneself. I agree with that, because you can acquire a ton of different things. Look at Epstein, multi-billionaire, loved by so many, but a sinister being internally. And who he really was affected so many other people in such a negative light, even though he was vastly wealthy. So it's not necessarily the trinkets that you acquire that represent how great you are, but it's who you truly are internally and giving that out to everybody else in a positive and productive manner. Can't beat that. And Mr. I Know says something that I wanted to focus on as well too. He said, this is a wild response from Steve. Dude literally said money before integrity, y'all. And the audience applauded as he reacted. Crazy. See, this is one of the reasons why I created this FYO thing, right? Because we all want to be heard, we all want to be right? And that's just our opinion. But when a person expresses their opinion and starts to get acceptance of others, if you don't understand the difference between your opinion and fact, you can start to believe that what you think, feel, and believe is actually true. With Steve being so wealthy and supporting so many people in his life with the money that he earns, I honestly think the people around him in his circle aren't standing up to him in a true way, letting him know, hey man, we appreciate everything that you do for us, but you are flawed in how you conduct business and represent your character. He has so many people, his audience, the people around him, supporting his behavior that I honestly think that he ain't trying to change at all. He's already said he not. He said he not. He said he said the money comes over everything else as far as who he's concerned. This is the money game. You got to play the game that they ask you to play. And we'll get to that in a second. Steve told us who he is. In this video, he was straight up honest about who he actually is, the person of Steve Harvey, not the facade of the character and the celebrity that we as the public see, but who Steve really is. He said, Mo, I'm not about to put me over the money. telling us that he is capable of being bought, and he has been. And when I scroll down a little bit more, reading the response from Belcher, he says something that I think that we need to focus on and pay attention to right here. He says, Steve's response to Monique is why our community is divided. When it's time to stand up for our people, there's always a group that will say, y'all not messing up my money. I've said this before, even about Nike. If we all came together and started putting money into our own community, there will absolutely be a huge change in the world. But that group I mentioned is always just enough to stop a movement. Funny thing is, everybody outside of our community notices it and even says it out loud to the world. Hopefully, one day it'll change. We're so divided because we've been taught to be individuals. We've been taught to seek and take care of our own circle. Like Steve said, I will put my integrity to the side to make money to take care of my family. But as a whole, to the community of us, what is it actually doing? It's separating and dividing us. In war, everyone knows that that is the easiest way to conquer a nation. You separate them, then you divide them. Get them fighting amongst themselves, and they're easy to topple. We have extreme wealth in the black community. A lot of it. Steve's a big part of it. So we have the finances to actually start to change our community and what's happening to us in a positive way. But we're so divided that all the money and financial power that we have as a community means absolutely nothing because we can't stick together long enough to put together one positive and productive agenda. It's not happening. Seems that a lot of people out there are agreeing with Monique and on Monique's side. So as I was doing this, I was trying my best to find some arguments against Monique and in support of Steve. And what I found was this. Now it's a pretty long comment, but it comes from Drew Gems. Hey, Self-Talk, if you out there, pin this guy's comment because I want a lot of people to read it. Now, in my opinion, this is what I think he's talking about in this comment. He pretty much sees us taking the minimal approach by looking at Steve and his behavior and what he's doing in this situation and says not to blame Steve. That the problem actually isn't Steve, it's the system that Steve works within. And Steve actually hints at this in his interview with Monique, stating that this is the money game, insinuating that there is a system out there that controls all this and we must choose to play it if we want to succeed in it. And I gotta admit, if we don't create the game, then who are we to complain when the rules are set forth that we must follow? So like I said, this comment is really long, but I'm gonna focus on this last paragraph by Drew to see what you guys think. I just want any and everybody who reads this to understand what the actual power structure looks like. Everybody here is pointing the finger at these celebrities for playing the game, but the game itself is what is corrupt. Celebrities have no control over this. A lot of them don't even know any of the shit that I mentioned in this comment. They're simply just playing the game. I also don't want anybody to think that there aren't people within the industry that are using the power of the system against the people and convincing them to do nasty or ridiculous things to go further within the industry. That's part of the power structure. Some people are taken advantage of, but it's not everybody. Some people agree to do wild shit. Others simply agree to pay their higher-ups a bigger percentage of their earnings. They're taken advantage of, but it's all based on the ideals and principles of how the system operates. They use how the system functions to get what they want out of people, but they are not part of some secret club together. They are all being corrupted by the functionality of the system that was created, but it's the system that is essentially the Illuminati. The system is what is guiding the people to do evil on their own will. Read that comment, man. And he mentions a bunch of different things about the system, and I think it's some pretty relevant stuff. And he's right. If there's a system in place, that's the true corporate of it. But reading it, if you're not paying attention, it could kind of seem as if it takes some of the ownership off of Steve. And we can't do that. Steve has just as much accountability in this thing as the rest of us. Now, it's just my opinion. If we all focused on being positive and productive and working together as a whole, as opposed to working as individuals, ain't nothing we can't accomplish. We all want to be heard. We all want to be right. But at the end of the day, it's just your opinion. So, F your opinion. Thank you for tuning in on Midway with SPMediaTV. If you like this video, follow, like, and subscribe, share all that good stuff. Thank you for tuning in. We gone.